I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
You know who we are by now. I mean, it's what 17 years almost, or
And
is
just think about it. If they're watching this show and they had no idea who we are, then either they're really dumb or they made a mistake and accidentally ran across us.
doesn't. It's not getting me. My face is
No.
away. That's what it is. Ah,
Yeah.
anyway, I just got a notification saying that CRM players are now on YouTube. So,
Oh, okay, good. Why don't we end the show early so we can go watch?
and that would be us. And we've been doing this for since 2009, and that's pretty much it. Good night. Have a great. Oh, I guess we can't do that kind of thing. We do have to do a show, I guess. We have a
Um,
show.
but
Oh, look, I just got another notification.
you know what? So
My
did
face
I.
is in. There it is. Then it went away.
It says watch now. See, oh, well, never mind.
Anyway, we are the CRM players. It is Thursday. It's that time. Oh, I got another one.
Wow.
Oh, that's from the CRM Playaz
Yeah, I
YouTube
have the
channel.
same thing. I get PPN ones, I get Players ones, I get my own from my LinkedIn account.
Yep.
I get that. Then I get YouTube notification. So
But
like,
here's the thing. I always get people saying, "Why don't we ever get notifications when your show goes live? We used to get them." So it's like, why are we getting them all? We know we're going live.
that's why they don't get them. They're just
Yeah,
sending
because
them
they're
to
all
us.
coming to us.
They're saying you send them out. You send them. You distribute them.
We just can't win. Anyway, it is Thursday. We got some stuff to talk about, I think. And usually at this time we would turn to our moment is Finn, but our moment is Finn has lost us again. Ooh, how
Oh,
about that?
poetry. That's beautiful, man.
Little flowetry there.
That's right.
Remember there's a group that, well, I don't know. Did you ever hear the group called Flowetry?
Mm-mm. No,
They were back in the 90s. I think they
were
were
they
in
a,
the 90s.
were they a rap group or were they a poetry group or what? What were they?
This kind of like a R&B poetry.
I could see that.
Yeah, like they had music and they had verses,
You
but they
remember,
weren't
like,
rappers, I don't think.
when you have these like clubs where people are kind of sitting and doing poetry, and they're always playing like cool jazz in the background, or occasionally some instrumental side of R&B, which is really a voice, thing. But there were they always the ambiance was always these guys just reading the poetry that they had, and it was like slam stuff sometimes, but it was usually more cool, urban vibe, city street poetry. And then the background would be actually more not cool jazz, but more warm jazz, more kind of warm jazz tones playing in the background. It was a really, I actually once went to a real one of those in New York City, and it was different. I loved it, but it was very different, man. You really had to have. It's one of those things that it's a matter of your taste. It was an acquired taste because
Hmm.
it was hip mellow would be the way I'd call it. Hip and mellow.
It kind
And
of kind of reminds me of one of the greatest flowetry-ers there is, and it was from the Flintstones. Actually, the name is going to throw you off because we use it for something else. The Golden Smog.
that was the name from the Flintstones.
It was like there was a part. Actually, I think he had it. Actually, I think his other name was called. It's been a while since I watched the Flintstones. Uh, but if I'm not mistaken, I think this guy's name was also Hi-Fi.
I don't remember. Wow,
Eh,
that's amazing because I watched every episode of the Flintstones. I don't remember that at
And this
all.
guy, he did this scootity oodity.
Oh yeah, I
Wow, wow,
remember
wow,
him.
wow.
That's right. He did scat. He
Yeah,
was
and the funny thing is when he did the scootity oodity, wow, 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 wow. Then he said after that, contact. And then Wilma Flintstone hit him over the head with a frying
right.
pan. And said,
Well,
there's your contact for your old goat face.
I seem to remember that there was, I think it was a Flintstone with him, but it was more like a club, and Fred Flintstone was wearing like a beret and
Well, it was all Fred. Well,
Yeah, but I
no,
mean,
there was a the Fred had to play him because I think Wilma knocked him out, and so because they were like identical, they looked alike, except for this guy had a little, little beard
snaggletooth.
chin kind of thing.
Goatee.
Yeah, well, yeah, his was like really like sharp. And he was wearing a beret.
That was him. Then it was him with the beret.
Yeah, but it wasn't a raspberry beret.
No,
It wasn't that.
I got you.
It was not.
I do remember. I actually did remember. I was thinking what I said just now was Fred wearing a beret, but
it was Fred with beret, and he had like these big black rimmed glasses.
Yeah.
And he had that chin thing going, and he had the scootity, oodity. Wow.
I do remember that.
There it is.
Holy cow.
That's good stuff. All right.
I liked it.
I forgot where I was going with all that, but
it doesn't make any difference.
We don't have Sven, so we're going to have to, maybe he's on vacation or something.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I'll check in with him after.
So we do have a couple of, I don't know if you call them housekeeping items. I did say that right?
Yeah, you did it naturally this time.
Yeah,
I mean, I hesitated a little bit, but
because I never know if I got it right or not. But something, a little birdie, another Flintstone thing, but we don't go on that one. A little birdie told me some news that I had not heard before, and I don't know if it was public. But then I saw this on a Reddit Oracle whatever they call them,
subreddit,
a subreddit for Oracle. Steve Miranda has announced his retirement. Apparently, the headline was wrong. The headline should have been Steve Miranda has internally announced his retirement, because I looked on his LinkedIn. Nothing. But apparently, Steve Miranda, our buddy, who after 20 years finally came on our show, apparently he has retired. He is already retired. So we just want to spend a minute or two just to congratulate him. I mean, look, we had a lot of fun talking about our interactions with Steve, because they were usually once every year at a gaggle at what was Oracle Open World / Cloud World / AI World. Was it anything before Open World?
No, not that I know of. I mean, it might have been,
because when you think about
Oracle World,
when you think about it, we went to so many of those things. I think it started with Open World. I'm not sure, but anyway, we would go and we would go to the analyst gaggle, where he would basically hold court and talk about, it was like the one time of the year that we actually there's about 10, 15 of us or something like that.
Yeah, typically
would get a chance to see him face to face and ask him, questions during the event. And then you really wouldn't hear from him anymore until the following year. And it dawned on us during the pandemic, we don't really know much about Steve outside of those gaggles. And we've been doing it for like 10, 12, 14.
By that time,
years.
yeah.
And so we kind of went on a bit of a mission, a crusade, if you will.
Yes, it was.
To get him on the show, because look, we always thought he had a personality and a sense of humor, but we couldn't tell because we only talked to him during the gaggle. And you had to split your time because everybody had questions and stuff.
Not me.
Well, okay. Most everybody had question or two. But then you wouldn't hear any more from him. And so we were like, we need to get him on the show. And it literally was a campaign. We did several things, including calling in the big guns, which is like Kim Guion.
Yeah.
To help us.
Our hero.
And we even had to call in the Brohammer, because apparently he would do like audio interviews with John Reed, who is the programmer. But it was never like a show, like coming on the show, and So we made it our mission before it got too far along to have him join us. And at the end of last year, he finally joined us, and it was great.
It really was. And I mean, the one thing with him that we knew is we liked him, right? He's
Oh, yeah.
extremely likable, and he always knew he had a good heart, and he was good at what he did. I mean, look, he was in charge of all business applications for Oracle for a long, long, long time, and he took it through. They had some ups and downs over the years, and one particularly serious down at one point. But you know what? He got through that and turned that down into a massive, and I genuinely massive up, right? And at his retirement, I would say Oracle Business Applications, at least on our side of the fence, the CX side in particular that we know best, were kind of, you could make the argument they were the top of the class, so to speak. I'm not going to say that because I'd have to do a much more thorough look, but the reality was they were doing things. It was integrated exceptionally well with each other. They were integrating with the back office really well, and they were enterprise grade, and they basically had a number of things that other technologies just didn't have or didn't do as well. And Steve just kind of went along and kept doing it. And there was other times we did actually see him. Like we would see him on analyst briefs, virtual analyst
Right.
briefs. He would be on those. But our campaign was awesome, actually.
Well, the thing about that, I'll say, from a professional standpoint, there was a lot of determination and a lot of endurance, because how many years would we go and they would talk about fusion apps and it wasn't there yet?
Yeah, that was kind of the low part.
Yeah, it got to a point, it almost, there were some folks out there making jokes, but they stuck with it. He led the effort to stick with it, and now look where it is. I mean,
they're really, really good. Look, honestly, again, from our standpoint, because I can't speak as well to the back end, ERP, HR kind of apps they have, but from our standpoint, look, they're the only one to this day that I know of, at least, and I'm not saying there aren't others, who've actually understood the relationship between marketing and sales in a way that aligns them, and the technology itself is built for the alignment of marketing and sales at a fundamental level, for an enterprise, when an enterprise really needs to be doing that. If they're not, then woe to the enterprise. So it's actually, and that, at least from last I looked, and that's been a year, I am retired here, so spend the same amount of time I used to, but that has been, I'll put, miles above anybody else's.
yeah.
And there are other ones that do it, just not as well.
Yeah. But I would say, going back, what year did they buy Right Now? I forget the exact year, but we're talking their CX
right after World War I ended.
Their CX efforts really began with the purchase of Right Now, and they built what they have now with that as one of the foundations, and they kept stacking and stacking and building and then creating their own native fusion apps. And look, that took a lot of time and effort and belief, and you got to give it to Steve because he was leading the charge that whole process.
Yes, he was.
So
congrats. 20, how many years was it then? 28 now?
It was very close to 30 at the time.
Yeah.
So good luck to him in whatever he wants to do.
Hey, Steve, it's an offer. Brent and I will take you to dinner if you come out our way while you're retired.
No, come to IRL 27.
Even better. You're invited as an honored guest. You don't have to speak. You don't have to do anything. Just show up. You come to IRL 2027. You know what? A good place for you to see your friends.
Oh, you will be able to hold court, because there are going to be so many people who just want to say hi and see you outside of an Oracle event. And
That's
that
right.
You exist outside of Oracle.
Okay, so Steve, the plan is, we'll give you more details later, but the plan is, and the new campaign launches now. The plan is February, the last week in February, we will be seeing you at IRL 2027. We hope. But we are gonna, again, this is the beginning, it's day one. So we'll see how this goes.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm very interested in that. But in all seriousness, congratulations, best wishes to whatever you do after almost 30 years, if not 30 years at Oracle. You
Yes,
deserve
yeah,
you deserve a big, like, comfortable chair to sit
that's
in.
right.
All right. So before we move on, because I do see we have our segment person. It's not really a guest
Our
at this point.
segment person, I know.
Our segment person. That sounded awful, actually. Our segment dude. No. You know he is, Michael Wu. We're just having fun. But before we move on, this week on the PPN, there was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I think every day this week there was a show, if I'm not mistaken.
And today, it was counting this one, there were 2.
Yeah. So I just want to take a time, a little. I think I have a snippet for most of the shows, probably not all of them, but just to let people know. I mean, I know everything kind of started with CRM Playaz, but there's way more than that going on PPN, and sometimes it feels like they're just individual shows. And it's on us. I'll take full responsibility for that.
Yeah, we do.
But we're going to make a better concerted effort to make sure that everything shows as a part of something bigger. Because
I mean, we're a network. We are a network. We're a digital broadcasting network. We have extraordinary people on it. It's if you're viewing it for the most part from the standpoint of the CRM CX community, that's pretty much who's it, right? There are other people who are becoming part of that. Like we're launching a new one in the next week, really, with Steve Reese called Beyond the Playbook, Unfiltered, which is a sports business show. We're launching that next week at Seat. Well, it's not live stream, so it'll show a different time. But so he's it's a brand new show. But almost the other shows are pretty much driven by analysts and other professionals who we've met over the years, who are part of the CRM CX community. And it's ultimately, I think, if we take all the shows into account that are active, we have about 7 or 8 right now. Yeah. So we're it's growing and it's solid, and the in-person event itself is kind of the gathering of the group, and IRL 2027. So coming up. So what we're trying to do is make this digital broadcasting network, which already is a digital broadcasting network, also feel like one, right? So that you understand that it really is. This is a group of extraordinary people doing amazing stuff. And then there's me and Brent.
Yeah. And I'm trying to understand, what is Dean talking about? Segmentarian? Oh, he's talking about Michael Wu.
Michael Wu.
He's a segmentarian or a segmentarian. What is that, like a Martian?
Yeah. A segmentarian.
We'll ask him which one he likes better.
I know the one I like better, segmentarian.
All right. So, for example, I think the longest running show on PPN outside of CRM Playaz is in the hot seat, and these folks have been doing, about 2.5 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
And they recently kind of I was going to say reimagined the show, but I just don't like that word anymore. I hate that because everybody else uses it. But they revamped. I like revamped.
Revamped works.
They revamped the show so that they're talking. It's still like it's a hot debate, but it's not like bringing on guests and putting them in the hot seat, so to speak. It's like putting a topic in the hot seat for them to talk about. And so,
and it's topic, meaning something that occurred in the immediate period.
And apparently, like recently, Databricks announced a new CDP product, which is interesting. But that got them on the topic of talking about CDP. And here's a clip just from today's show about what they really want to happen outside of any one company and CDP.
I really want to see is somebody come out with something agentic that fixes the problem in customer data platforms, which is the data. I can't believe that nobody has yet innovated on that and decided that they're going to come up with an agent that can normalize data across different data streams.
Informatica, that's the one that
Informatica, yeah.
Claire GPT, and that's, I mean, and honestly, that was one of the reasons that Salesforce bought them. That's probably the only one that I've seen that's fairly advanced.
You would think that that would be more popular, though, because I mean, we all know all of the problems that inconsistent data causes, right?
Yeah, data QA is, to me, one of the best automation use cases.
Just yesterday spent 9 hours fixing data.
The problem has been that while the technology could fix the plumbing problem, it never fixed the business part of it.
That's a nice little interaction right there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that stuff.
Good crew.
That was just today. You earlier this week were on with Game On. Is that Game On period, or is that game on, like with an exclamation?
You mean exclamation point? It's exclamation point, really.
So it should be Game On, or
Yeah.
something like that. All right. So you had a really interesting conversation with our one of the folks that has become a mainstay on the IRL. Well, there's only been 2 of them. So,
On our long-running IRL.
but he's one of the folks that people really enjoy hearing from, because he kind of comes from out of left field from our usual industry's perspective, which is Jeff Gomez. And I got a little clip of him talking about the importance of story worlds and coherence.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Great, being able to read a comic book that is in continuity with a movie or a Disney Plus TV show is kind of awesome. But big brands want coherence. They want their narratives to flow across different media in elegant ways. And that made my company valuable, not just to the Disneys and Sony Pictures and Microsoft with Halo. It made us valuable to Coca-Cola, to Pepperidge Farm, and other kinds of big brands that needed coherence as the content extended across these different media.
Yeah, that is such an important discussion, man. Actually, when the show ended, Jeff and Todd had to go, but Jeff and I stayed on for a while talking about that exactly.
And everybody can catch the full shows of these things too. Check out our LinkedIn pages. You'll see them.
You will see him.
Now, one of our newest shows is from our big friend, although we still have some challenges with his choice in sports teams and all that. But Ron Miller, who is the editor and publisher of Fast Forward blog and newsletter, formerly at TechCrunch for a decade or so. But he does a show we call, now it took a lot of branding execs and advisory to come up with this, Fast Forward on PPN.
$200,000 just to get that name.
And his guest this week was another one of our buddies and another Boston sports fan when you think of it.
Big time.
Don Sureman.
Yeah, sure, man.
That. And he wanted to talk a little bit about how content is not king anymore in the AI world. And here's why he says that.
It's true. Like the same thing is true on the marketing side, right? Like content generation is not the problem now. Like I can create more content than we would ever possibly need or want. The question is actually, one, how do we bring the judgment to the content that's going to actually be valuable to our clients sort of as they go across that buyer journey? And 2, do we have the taste to actually create content that people truly want to engage with and isn't just more of the kind of meaningless, slop that frankly is starting to show up a lot on places like LinkedIn and other feeds that
I couldn't agree with him more.
Yeah, me too. Well, I mean, ultimately, from as far as that goes, it's just human judgment still matters a lot here, and and ultimately you're trying to convince human beings, not other AIs, about something, right? So, and people, to his point, I actually liked his use of the term taste, right? Because that really is how this works. Like,
Yeah.
I like that, you may not, but I do, so, and that right there is taste, right? So, and he's cognizant of that because he's right. You can create meaningless crap content. That's just words on paper that you push out there on a subject, maybe, so to speak. I don't mean on paper, but you get my point.
Absolutely. And the thing that I really honed in on, just because you can use AI to do stuff doesn't mean that you need to do it all the time, or that you don't make sure the stuff that you put out using AI is actually good.
Yeah.
Just because you can put a bunch of stuff out there with a blink of an eye or something, that doesn't mean it's actually good. And I think people are
even useful. I mean, even vaguely useful, like
good, useful. Just see that I think we're all looking at it from the creator perspective, and not necessarily the best of the creators. Just anybody who knows how to, push a button or say a type in a prompt and get this stuff out. They call themselves creators. There needs to be some kind of a standard, or what a creator actually is in terms of the output, not just the ability, but the output. There's got to be some way of making a creator create things that have taste, value to more than just themselves.
You would think that somebody would get that. It's not hard, right? To imagine, let me do something. I'm a creator. It's how I do my business. Let me produce something that only I want. That kind of limits your business, your target market, to somebody who can't afford it.
You know what it feels like, though, and we're getting ready to bring on Michael. You might have a thought or two. It just feels like spray and pray is going exponential in the AI world. I mean, people, the emails, the open rates, to me, they were awful.
Yeah.
And the conversion rates were even more awful. But because you could reach a huger audience, it didn't matter how awful the conversion rates are or the open rates were, because you're spraying the millions of people. So you're eventually going to scrape a couple of, conversions out of millions of people.
Well, to that point, ultimately, all of these things start with something that's the same, which is this. Look what I did. Right? That's what they start with. Look, YouTube started that way. Look what I did. Right? I don't care how good the production value is. Look what I did. To your point, spray and pray, email. Look what I did. To this AI stuff, to your point, look what I did. I did that. I did this with AI. And in the meantime, but it impacts literally nothing or anyone.
Well, it's AI slop now. That's what we call it.
But it always starts with look what I did. Right. And that's not, unfortunately, that's fine for your own satisfaction, maybe, but does not work at all for the actual purpose that we're talking about, which is, making something work in the business world or in just a world. Period.
It's part of that like hustle economy culture where you're not really worried about doing something great. You're just worried about doing enough to make enough. And it feels like that's kind of the motto of AI slop. It's you're using this stuff just so that you can push stuff out there to scrape off a little bit and be happy with it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to judge people, but
I do.
There's a lot more of those kind of people out there using this stuff than there are people who are looking to use it to create even better stuff than they were able to create before.
Yeah, there are those, but
there are not a lot of them, unfortunately.
No,
there are not enough of them compared to.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it. There are not nearly enough of them.
All right, before we bring on Michael, we have one more clip, and this is a weird one because it's us, and it didn't even come from a CRM Playaz show. It's actually from a CRM Playaz pop-up. I just want to say
we still need that noise, though.
But you know what? I was saying this pop-up stuff. Thanks for the noise again. I was saying pop-up. You know what it was really called? Because I created a little image for it.
Right.
We call them quick takes, so throughout this whole thing, I've been calling them a pop-up.
Yeah, me too.
And it was all right. So look at the thumbnail that I'm about to play the clip for, and you'll see why this makes no sense. But I think what we said makes sense. Anyway, check it out. Do these acquisitions feel more defensive than offensive as opposed to the previous acquisitions? When they bought the e-commerce platforms, when they brought the CPG stuff, going all the way back to Radiant 6, Pardot, and all that stuff, those felt like they were all offensive. They were building the platform. In addition to building the platform with these, it also kind of feels like they're a little bit on the defense.
That's fair.
Because of what's going on in the overall economy, all the enterprise software and their value being questioned because some kid in the basement can code up some stuff.
I think that's absolutely fair to say. And at the same time, I think they're doing what they need to do. Again, if Julian Lin's right, they're filling out the platform and the ecosystem. However, where it's defensive is in the past, they did it when they wanted to. Now they're doing it under time constraints. Other companies are doing very similar or attempting to do very similar things, not necessarily making the acquisitions, but filling out the ecosystems, and are highly competitive in terms of their AI capabilities, et cetera, et cetera. Well,
So
I have
that
to
was-
say we're right.
I think we were right. And you know what? This is getting even more interesting because you saw the announcement, and maybe we can even talk to Michael when we bring him on in 30 seconds. That they made with Anthropic now integrating with directly into Slack.
Yeah. Well, again, it's very odd, these things. I mean, the integrations of from the vendor side, Slack, ServiceNow, those kind of things. The vendors themselves are I think I mentioned this on something, but this is a totally different thing, but I found it odd. So one of the things I'm doing in my home automation is I'm building out like these custom things with webhooks and things like that for via Unify and Ubiquity, which are advanced networking systems. And I went to build a webhook, and there were three options I had to build this webhook. One was custom, but it was the other two that caught my eye, and it goes right to what you just said. One was Slack, and the other one was ServiceNow. And I'm thinking, this is things, I mean, this commercial, Unify and Ubiquity is the parent company for Unify, are used in commercial environments. But the fact that the webhooks are Salesforce, basically, Slack, and ServiceNow, which means there's an enterprise component that they are actually trying to figure out, also tells you how interested they are in trying to build out these broad, expansive, and powerful opportunities through networks of some kind. And then obviously, look, the AI, the webhooks are also utilizable with AI and other things. So the fact that Anthropic directly integrates, not shocking really to me. In fact, I expect to see the big vendors do more and more of these things that will turn up in odd places, but make strategic sense.
Yeah.
And these do. And so, seeing Claude and company, available directly integrate, as part of, not a shock at all.
Yeah, I think Slack has become, well, I don't even know if become is the right word, but they are in such an interesting position because a lot of the interactions and exchanges that are really most critical and important to companies, whether it's about marketing or service or product development or whatever, those are conversations. Those conversations are taking place in Slack. And before all this, AI stuff really took off, nobody really focused on the importance of that because nobody knew how to access it and then process it. It wasn't structured data. But now it's like AI has kind of helped us unlock unstructured data. All these things that are happening within Slack are becoming really important pieces. And we, in a whole focus on system of context versus just system of record. because that system of context really fills out the factual pieces to the system of record pie. Now you got metadata around the system of record, and that's coming. A lot of it's don't come from Slack.
It's fascinating. One thing I think is kind of sad in its own way too is because look, I mean, Slack to some degree, not directly, indirectly is similar to Microsoft Teams, meaning it's a collaborative platform, right?
Yeah.
Collaborative environment. And Teams for a long time, a fairly long time, relatively fairly long time, is integrated with Copilot, right? And because, same company. But they, to be honest, Microsoft's just done a terrible job about doing anything with that, right?
Mm.
And Copilot, which was the granddaddy of all this, is pretty much
It's the
faded.
godfather of Copilots. No.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
I didn't think you'd like it.
No, it's not because of any competition with me. It just doesn't work. It just literally doesn't work.
All right, before we bring him on, you know what I think maybe one of the bigger drivers why Slack really seems to have taken off in this area and Teams hasn't?
Why?
Slack was independent for years.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were using Slack well before they bought by Salesforce.
Yeah, the developers collaboration platform.
Yeah, so they were already hooked.
Yeah.
Whereas Teams was always, I don't know if they bought it or whatever, but it was always felt like it was associated with Microsoft.
Well, because it is.
So I think that might have helped Slack into the position it's in now, being independent and getting its own audience before being acquired and then rolled into Salesforce.
It makes sense. I mean, the reality is, Salesforce was smart enough to initially kind of leave it alone, right, and let the people not have to do things with Salesforce in order to use Slack, right? So still do, I guess. So that's always an advantage, even though it's like PPN, right? We have all these shows associated with PPN, but you don't have to. You can watch a show and not have to watch any other ones.
That's true.
So,
well, let's go on with this show. And before we bring them on, I shared this with you, and I want to bring it on and then have him come on and give his opinion on what he's about to see.
Okay,
because it's a representation of him.
Oh, you're kidding me.
You know what I'm going to show.
Yeah, I do.
I just want to see what he's going to think of this. So,
Jesus.
We might. Well, I'm not.
We can't. We will be sued by somebody else. I promise.
So I went to Gemini, and they now use Nana Banana or whatever they call that thing when they're for their image generation stuff. So I went to Gemini and said, you know what? We need a image for our segments with Dr. Michael Wu, taking the lid off. So I said to Gemini, I said, all right, here, I fed it a couple of pictures of Michael Wu. And I said to Gemini, hey, look, we really need a great image for Michael Wu's segment. I've uploaded a couple of pictures. As you can see, he wears Kangos a lot. The name of the segment is called Taking the Lid Off of AI. He's an AI leading expert, thought leader, and all that. So we need a really good image so we can introduce him on that show segment. All right, Michael, I want you to get ready to. I'm going to show you.
I won't say what I think after you do, Michael.
I'm going to
say what I think.
I'm going to show you what Gemini came up with for the Taking the Lid Off AI segment featuring Dr. Michael Wu. Here it is. I actually like it. I'm sorry. I think
I'm going to have to say it. This is either the Dalai Lama or a Shaolin monk.
Well, I mean, right? He doesn't have his trademark on, so he's going to look different. But he's taking the lid off.
First of all, he's not bald. Right?
Well, it's very low cut. It's all.
This makes him look like he runs a team of black belts who go out and save the world against
Well,
forces.
he's taking the little. He's exploding AI. I mean, I think. All right, so we've had our say. Let's bring him on.
The
and
Dalai
get-
Lama will sue us if she sees this.
well, I literally fed it pictures of Michael Wu. So, all right.
I'm
So
sorry.
now we are ready to bring on the star of taking the lid off of AI,
The Dalai
Michael
Lama.
Wu. Dr. Michael Wu. Hey, Michael.
Wow. I'm speechless. I don't know what to comment about this. I look it's yeah,
You look menacing. You look kind of menacing. Mean.
That's exactly what he looks like. Shaolin monk.
With a
Yeah,
explosion in the
kind of-
background.
some kind of kung fu master.
Yeah,
and,
you're the head of a monk order of
Hey, man,
warriors.
This
who
AI is some
defends the world
serious
against
stuff.
supernatural evil.
AI is serious stuff, man. You know.
yeah, but I don't know. I think this
We're not
maybe-
using this. We were. I only fed it in. I was like, wow. And then I showed it to Paul, and he's like, yeah.
No.
But I wanted to show you
You have
because
to- yeah, it's worth looking at.
I'll actually find the prompt that I used, so you can see how it got to
Okay.
this thing. But anyway,
I'm curious what prompt did you use to get that to get me
I
to
know.
be a ball semi ball. I mean, not.
I think it's a close cut. It's like, very close. But the look on your face, you're like all business. I mean,
Well,
it's
it's all, yeah. Well, that's because he's defending against a world of evil dragons, right?
all right. We'll put this aside. I have to admit, I kind of liked it.
I don't think I dislike it. I think it's just I
Strange.
don't know. It's a little
It is
strange,
different
but
because
it's not really me per se. I was
No. because you
So-
usually have a very pleasant look on your face.
Yeah,
That
this
is
guy does
anything
not.
but pleasant.
This guy is up against. He's literally standing at the top of the Great Wall of China at the moment.
He's like
Waiting
defending
for
the world
invasion.
against AI.
He's waiting for invasion, right? And he's determined that he and his monks will end it, right? Here and now. It's finally time for Armageddon here.
It's like
Here
when
and now,
you-
your
AI
monks.
Armageddon.
it's like
that's right.
when you're thinking about the narratives for AI that are out there. That's the look that comes on your face because you don't think the right narrative is out there for AI.
No, I
I
don't.
thought it was
I-
amazing.
Pete,
Yeah,
Pete Smith says it's the MacGruber filter.
Gruber.
I always
No.
like that MacGruber. I like the song.
Oh, I remember it very well.
All right,
Go
so let's
forth,
talk
Tim.
about this, Michael. You sent me a message that the corporate narrative about AI is all wrong. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, don't you think so? I mean, what is the most of the corporate narrative around AI today? I mean, it's all about
Efficiency, automation, workflow. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very process and workflow oriented.
Specifically.
yeah, but I
And-
think that is precisely the
The wrong narrative.
wrong narrative that a company should have, right?
Which
I think
which
this-
should they have? Like,
Well, I mean, so let's try to understand like why is it the wrong narrative first, right?
Okay.
Because I feel like this narrative it's wrong in the sense is it portray these AI as something that can only help you improve productivity and eventually be better than you, right? I mean, when people think about automation, what comes to mind? It comes to it's some machine that could do things faster, more efficient, more way, right?
cheaper. Yep.
Yeah, cheaper, and and they're just machines, right? So
So would it be the narrative is driven by causes for lowering costs
mhm.
and doing things more efficient? That's kind of the overall narrative about how
Well-
corporate at least sees AI.
To do
Exactly.
things cheaper, but pretty much the way they are.
Yeah, so I think that's why I think there's so many, I would say negative sentiments around AI. As for people who are not necessarily in tech, who doesn't understand this technology, right? I think people don't feel good about this, right? They're actually don't welcome this. They're afraid. I think there's fear around, mass job displacement. And yeah, I think there's just a lot of things that's actually not, I mean, it is one thing that AI can do, but it's not the most important thing in the business. I feel like the most important business is actually to elevate and innovate, right, rather than automate. I think that is I think the lowest like order of thing, right? The least that AI could do, right? It's the automation, right? I think that the people need to kind of move away from that and start to think about, how do you elevate human, and how do you innovate your company and product and so on, right? Using these type of technology. I think that I think the reality is that, like, AI is actually a much better, I would say, teacher or mentor than an automator.
Let me ask you a question. Maybe playing a little bit of devil's advocate.
Sure.
But I'm actually on your side. I'm just playing the devil's advocate. So you've seen the billions upon billions of capital investment that's going on with AI. Individual companies, as much as $150 billion in a single year, which I cannot really understand how they can do that. But that's what they're committing for their AI investment. Can they look towards the innovative aspects of AI to get their ROI in a shorter term, or do they have to really focus on the automation, the efficiency, the productivity plays to get their return before they can really focus on the innovation part?
Well, I think the automation is just a cheap and fast way, right? I mean, because it's a no-brainer, right? If I could reduce my workforce, my headcount, right, obviously I'm going to save something and I'm going to have better ROI, right? That is just a sure thing, right? Whereas innovate and elevate is actually harder, right? It's not clear that what you innovate on, there's a lot of uncertainty, right? There's you may come up with a better product, right? But you think it's better, but does the market think it's better? So I think there's a lot more uncertainty goes into that, right? But I think that the things that, like, there's no upper bound to this innovation and elevation, right? When you automate, you can automate everything away that your company do, right? And the company will not grow a single bit, right? It will be just the way it is, right? You will not, you'll be just real hyper efficient, really, really efficient, but you will not change a bit about what they do, what they offer, and so on, right? You need to think kind of ways to somehow innovate and basically elevate humans, right? To allow them to do work that's actually to drive growth, right? And that's what ultimately will grow the business, right?
So
yeah.
If I'm a company and I say, "Oh, I like that idea. I think I'll do it." Let's say I'm a pretty big company, like I don't necessarily mean Oracle size, let's say, or Pepsi Cola or Coca-Cola or any of those size, but
or PPN.
Big. Yeah, no, PPM definitely not. If you're a big company, what's the practical steps you take to do that, though? I mean, it's like the other side of this is people don't have a clue how to actually go about innovating. Obviously, given the way they're doing it now, they're not thinking well enough about it.
Yeah.
So what do they actually do?
Well, I mean, you could use, I think the first thing is, like, use the automation, right, as a first step to, I think, free up your employee from doing these mundane and repetitive thing, right? Once you, like, get people to kind of the time and and permission to do things differently, right? They know the business better. I mean, the people who are in the business know the business best, right? And they know how to improve the business or build a better feature, better product that will meet the customer's need more, right? And I think that's ultimately, I think I believe I shared this use case with IKEA before, right? Have I shared this? Like basically they use this chatbot, to automate their customer service. And basically, the chatbot is so good that they could, I think, answer correctly customer service inquiries about close to 50% of the time. It's like 47, something like that, close to 50% of the time. And then that made like 850, no, 8,500, 8,500 like customer service rep essentially redundant, right? And then so most company would just say, probably I don't need you guys anymore, right? But if you're a good company, you probably give them a good package and say I don't need you anymore, but I want to take care of you, so I give you a good package to leave. But then IKEA did not do that. They actually, find a way to elevate those people, right? Through innovation. Innovation is a learning process, right? So they actually, at the same time, while they are automating this process of customer service, they also learn that a lot of the question that's coming into this customer service, they're actually interior design questions, right? So there's obviously some demand for it because people are asking people, how should I design my room when I have these furnitures, and how do I put them together? Does it go well in this space and so on? A lot of these design type of question. And then they find out, well, this is something that they could actually, have these, 8,500 customer reps to do this kind of remote design consulting type of work, right? They actually reskill them rather than just taking this money that they save from the automation. They reinvest it in the people, right? They're elevating the people, right? So they actually reskill them so that they actually become these remote interior designers, and then they can actually, because now they actually be able to offer this as a service, and then these 8,500 people actually bring in 1.3 billion euro.
Wow.
Right, and that's something that's a growth mindset, right? You are innovating because you're making a new offer, right? And how do you know that offer? I know it's good and there's demand for it. You learn from using AI to automate your. I mean, one thing that I feel company don't do very well, no matter what size of company they are, is they don't learn and adapt very well to the market, to the customer, and everything. Right? They just, I have this thing that I want to sell, and this is it, right? I want to. If I don't have to customize it for you, I would prefer to just make a billion on this and just sell it, right? I mean, it's only that you wouldn't buy it, so I'm forced to kind of give you some customization, so you would buy. And then, so it's always they're trying to do the least to make the most, right? And I think in the world where knowledge and kind of this expertise is scarce, that might work. I think today in this world where knowledge and expertise is actually fairly, I would say, accessible now with AI, right? You can actually use it to learn much faster. You can actually collect data, right? Like we talked about Slack before. All those like communications between all the departments that live in Slack in people's head, right? Whether somebody have an idea, right? That they may not even be remember at all. Maybe they just mentioned it once and it got shut down for whatever reason, right? And then, but this AI can actually remember. I said, if there's a need for this, they could surface. Oh, by the way, so and so has mentioned this idea, and it seems like this would serve this purpose. And then maybe you should look into that, right? And I think this is where learning company have to have the ability to learn. And AI is the best teacher, best mentor. They could let you learn and teach you things that you don't even think is possible, right? And once you learn, then you can grow, right? You can actually innovate, grow. And then the other thing is like you need to company have to have that, I would say, the imperative to reinvest these, I would say, gains that they get from AI, right? Productivity gain from AI, reinvest them back to their people to truly elevate them.
Can I add just one thing? This is, I've been talking about Slack and the importance of it for a while now, but you just add a whole other layer, like having a system that can actually go back in time and pick up something that was said. It might have even felt like an off the cuff remark at the time, but
at the
now
time
can be very critical.
Yeah, that's why there's a saying that like you don't ever throw away data, right? Because data may not be important today, right? Because a lot of people say like this is like back, I would say like I don't know, 20 years ago maybe, right? The big data era, right? When people said like why are big data so noisy? They're just like a lot of it is irrelevant, right? They should be irrelevant. If they are all relevant, then they wouldn't be big, because because you don't have that much problem for you to solve. Because the whole point of big data is that you collect the data, right, irrespective of whether they are going to help you or not, right? So and you do that because you don't know if it's going to help you in the future, because you don't know what problem you may have in the future. You may not know what, because data is relevant when it's able to help you address some problem, right? So if traditionally people collect data because they have a problem. I have a problem, so I go on and collect the data to solve this problem, right? So this data is highly relevant to this problem, right? But in the world of big data, I collect the data first before I have a problem, right? Therefore, most of the data probably will not be relevant to any single one problem that you have, right? So by the time you have a problem, then you could go back and look at, okay, most of the data is actually irrelevant, but there's only this piece and that piece that's actually relevant. I'm going to use that to solve this problem, right? So but companies run into problem all the time, right? They may not know what problem they may have tomorrow, a month later, or a year from now, right? So getting as much data as they can, essentially shield them, de-risk them from this, the need in the future need that, okay, I may have a problem, then I don't have the data to solve it. And I have to start to collect data then, right? If I start to collect data then, it may take me another year before I can address those problems, right? But if I have collected those data already, all I need to do is filter the irrelevant stuff out. That's like, like you simply write a query, right? Depending on how much data, it may take, a few hours to a day, or then you have the data, you can solve the problem, right? So I think that's the key thing, right? You don't I think a lot of this data, when we talk about in the big data world, is with structured data, right? But people haven't kind of extend that thinking towards unstructured data, right? So people still have a lot of unstructured data that, like knowledge and expertise and discussions that's locking people's email, they're locking people's, Slack or team chats, right? But with AI, potentially all those can be surfaced, right? Every conversation, they can actually bring up something that may be relevant. Maybe people even forgot about it, and people may not even remember, because we only have a finite amount of memory and recall, right? We can only fit so much stuff in our own context window is also limited, right? So
you know what? I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
I have a Gmail account. I've had it for 15 something years. There's 15 years worth of email.
You haven't even opened. I know. Yeah. I remember your numbers drive me crazy, because I'm like I'm like a neat freak when it comes to email. I don't want to have any notification of numbers. And Brent says, what was it, like 130,000? It was something like 130,000.
But just think about Google is in that kind of position that has the capability, that has all that information.
Why don't you use it?
They are.
Why don't you use it?
They could use it. Well, they've
No,
already.
you use it.
Well, I don't need to use it right now. You know, I'll let Gemini tell me if I need to use it. Right
That's
now.
what I
How about
mean.
that?
Well, the
That's
thing
why
is,
I'm ahead of the game. I never delete. I always keep-
Collected 130,000
So you-
emails
so
waiting
Brent-
for you.
Huh?
here's something you could do, right? I mean, you could tell Gemini that, or if you know, now you have access to all my historical emails, right? I mean, look at all the trending kind of things that people talk about outside in the world, right? Which AI could do research for you, no problem today, right?
Yeah.
They could, and then take a look at, you know, all my historical email. Are there any potential solutions, right? I mean, you just have to tell them. I mean, the AI is not going to do it for you unless you tell them, you know, to do it first, right? I think that's one thing that, you know, it.
Good
You
idea.
know what?
Or-
I'm actually going to do. I'm going to ask Gemini. Tell me which of my thousands of
130,000
emails I should actually read right now. I want to see what
Yeah.
it says. That's
Yeah.
a great idea. Thanks for bringing that up.
Or even
Yeah,
your
it's
Google
a better
Drive,
idea
right?
than you know.
Yeah.
Next
Or
time
even
I see,
your-
if I ever see Brent's mailbox again, maybe it'll have like 11.
No, what if it says out of the several thousands of emails, there's only 5 that you really need to read.
There you go. And then say, please delete all the rest.
I was like,
And
no,
then it's
because you never
Get
know.
rid
It
of
might 10 years from now, those might become relevant.
Oh, so
Just
you know
like
what you
Michael
didn't
said.
do? I'll tell you, here's an alternate solution. Tell Gemini, make them all noted as red. That way you won't have the stupid number up there.
I like the number.
Oh my God, that number drives me nuts. When I've seen Brent's emails on his phone or something,
Let's
when
see.
he shows me something, it drives me up a wall. I'm not joking. I am a person who needs no notifications showing anywhere. I delete them by the bucket load.
You
And
want to know how
I-
many are?
Yeah.
Well, I've got over 73,000 still in my Gmail,
There you go.
but that's not all of the unopened. That's just all of the emails I have.
Yeah.
In
So
Gmail.
you probably, you know, like trash some of them at the time, right?
Yeah,
And
I've thrown some out. Yeah, I've thrown
they only keep Google probably
I
keep
threw out
them
one
for
2
30
years
days,
ago.
right? But imagine, you know, you have all those historical email context conversation that you may have and everything. Yeah, you just don't know what, you know, what you could do with it. I mean, there's a lot, right? You can even build a dashboard for yourself. Say, like, you know, what are the topical trends over the last 15 years? That would be interesting just for you to see. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, it may not.
Yeah, well,
it may
the
not
top of
solve
the trends
your
over the last
problem.
15 years is spam.
that's really cool. I'm going to do some of this stuff.
Spam.
Yeah, so I think there's just like, I know I digress a little bit, right? But I think
All
the
right.
important thing is that, you know, AI should not be viewed as just an automation machine, right? It should be used as an innovation machine. Now you can actually use it to create this new dashboard for you for brand that you never know you could right? You never know that you need to look at it, all your emails, or maybe somehow provide a kind of these word clouds or tag clouds, right, to let you see what topics are important. You could tell Gemini to build those for you.
You know what? When you said attack cloud, you know what came to mind?
Mhm.
The warrior.
All right. I hate to say this, but we're actually past the topic now, because this not only is it informative, it actually turned into a real fun
Yeah,
conversation.
it was a good
too.
one.
Any last things you want to get out there before we end the show?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would just, you know, hope that more and more company focus on like the next step. I think automation may be the first step because that's easy and that's fast. That's you know, but it's the wrong narrative. It's not the narrative that a company should have, right? Because one, it drives people to think about, you know, this AI as something that's going to replace them, right? But if you think about this AI as some, you know, a mentor or a teacher that elevates you, right? A teacher and mentor, they could do everything that he teach you as well, but he's not interested in replacing you, right? He's there to elevate you so that you could do more and innovate and grow. right? I think that's the type of narrative that companies should focus on, right? And not to, and they should be encouraged, companies should be encouraging their employee to use the excess productivity or resource time or what they have to do something innovative, right? So
Nice. Very nice.
Perfect.
Way. All right. So if you guys will allow me, I'm going to end the show in a little different manner because I got an email from our buddy. Well, actually, it was a group text from my buddy Frank Radis, he was Mr. Media. He was on all the CNN, ABCs, NBC,
yeah.
all of them producing and all that for those news shows. So he just sent a text that says, if I can read it, I wrote, and it's a little like a video of a song like a music video almost. He said, I wrote this in the 70s and never recorded it. With the help of AI and my voice sample, I did it last night. So I want to play a little of this as we go out. So
Perfect.
there you go.
On behalf of Dr. Michael Wu and his new image there.
Shaolin.
Special margin.
Shaolin, on behalf of Michael Wu, Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung. Right.
All right. So the name of the song is called, wait a minute, I can't even see the name of this thing. Gambling Man.
Okay.
Something about a gambling man by
Isn't
Frank.
that's a song that already exists, isn't it?
I think
That's a Rambling Man. Rambling Man.
There is definitely the Rambling Man,
Yeah,
but
that's what I was thinking of.
I can't see the actual top of this video I'm getting ready to play. So it has something with Gambling Man in it.
Okay.
All right, but it's Frank Radis with the help of AI to finish this song, the recorded finish. Here we go. Wait a minute. Let's try this again.
Too bad. I like it.
Well, his daddy was a pool hall gambler, and the boy so full of spite.
That's
Give
Frank.
him $1, pitching pennies, and go
Guess
to
so,
the
in the
pool
70s.
hall until late at night. His daddy didn't know that he would follow in his footsteps, and his mama didn't know that she would lose another man.
Sounds pretty good.
Sounds
Yeah.
When
damn
his
good,
woman
man.
found out, she said she didn't want to see him no more. Cause he's nothing but a down home full home gambling man. Months later, perhaps step with a half a brain in his back pocket.
All right, I don't want to play
He's
the whole
got to
song.
be happy with that.
That sounds actually really good.
It sure does.
Gonna have to tell Frank. And he said he never recorded it, so he wrote it, and he just recorded it with the help of AI in his voice sample.
Well, don't pay. Josh Barney did the same thing. If you think about it, he wrote all kinds of lyrics. Josh Barney was the current owner of Seat and chairman of Seat. Actually wrote lyrics for his various songs and then put them to some AI app that actually adds not only voice but music to it.
His
also.
voice?
No, he didn't use his voice. He doesn't think he can sing, I don't think. So I mean, I know I would never use my voice. I always tell people.
You can actually record your voice, and then
here's the
AI
deal,
will actually make it pitch perfect.
better. Yeah, well, people ask me, have you ever sung before? Yeah, I was in a group in the 60s called the Monotones, right? So
that name.
that's how bad my voice is, right? So
I would say otherwise, right? Because I think the people, I can't sing either, but Margie sings. Right. So
yeah,
my wife,
sure do.
Margie, she sings.
Margie Rockstar sings.
Yeah. It's your voice is your voice. The fact that I cannot sing is that I don't have the ability to, I would say, create the tone that I actually write on pitch. Right. That's why we are monotone. We say everything that we but you don't have to create those like undulations. Those
again,
you don't need to. The AI could do that for you. It just
that would be the equivalent of my books being ghost written by AI, and that's never going to happen, right? So, right, I definitely my voice is my voice. If I can't sing, I can't sing. So what, right? I have a good ear, but I just have a bad
what
voice.
if you could sing, right? What would it sound like?
Not even that interesting.
Yeah,
It
if
would
you're not
sound-
interested, that's fine, right?
it would
It's
sound like
not
a
problem that you're
monotone.
trying to solve, but then
Even AI couldn't solve that one.
I'm gonna have
But
to go
it's
back
not-
and see if the monotones are on YouTube so I can
Yeah,
grab some of that
but
good
yeah, you realize
Greenberg voice.
You do realize I made that up, right?
I was hoping not.
Yeah, no, I did.
All right, we got to go. Thanks again. And if you are in the Charlotte area, we will be there for the Seed Conference. Well, I get Sunday through Wednesday or something like
Right.
that. At the Charlotte downtown Hilton or something like that.
Yeah, the Hilton. I think it's called is it the Hilton Charlotte Downtown Convention Center, which is attached to a Hilton.
Yeah, that's it. So let us know. Maybe we'll see.
We'd love to see you.
All right. Well, if we don't see you then, we'll see you later.
All right.
Later.